Hi, my name is Wouter Groeneveld and I would like to present my work today on creative problem solving for software developers. I'm a PhD student from KU Leuven in Belgium, and before that I was a software developer myself for 11 years. So that's why I'm really interested in the topic at hand. Right, so let's get into it. Before I would like to talk about the findings of the things we did so far, let's first provide a little bit of context as to why creativity in software development is important according to us. So here you have someone who's studying Python, a programming language used to develop. Most of the time software developers are seen as technical experts, so there's a lot of technical importance and knowledge needed, which is the cognition part. But we ask, what about non-technical skills like creativity, for instance? There's not a lot known yet on that part for software development. So my PhD topic is trying to identify and amplify those non-technical skills, whatever that may be. I also need to identify those in software engineering education. So my PhD topic is also education related. Right, so the first part, identifying which non-technical skills are important for software engineers. We've already put a lot of work into that. So these three parts have been done, but I don't have time to go into detail. If you're interested, you can check out the links. We can summarize all these findings into a nice graph to identify the top 3 missing skills we think are more needed in software engineering education. Let me zoom in a little bit. You can see here, being creative by approaching a problem from different angles, thinking in solution-oriented way, and devoting oneself to continuous learning. So these are the wants versus the haves. Industry thinks is really important, but in education it's missing. So that's why creativity is in one of those top 3 skills. That's why we think we should devote some more research to it. Okay, so creativity is underrepresented in software engineering education, or creative problem solving, CPS. But what exactly is CPS itself? Well, to answer the what question, we first need to determine what exactly is the role of creativity in the world of software engineering and what makes one developer creative and the other less so. And we did that by conducting multiple focus groups. So that's also research of this year, which has been presented this year at the SIGCHI conference in May. So we identified 7 problems of creative problem solving, and we call it creative problem solving instead of creativity because we're interested in the applicability of creativity and we want to make it as domain specific as possible. So these are the, let me move my head. These are the 7 dimensions of what we think is creative problem solving in software engineering, ranging from creative techniques to technical knowledge. Of course, it's needed. Minimum amount of programming skills are needed to be able to execute those creative techniques and to have this creative state of mind. Of course, to learn a lot, you need to be curious about new things and to be able to communicate with one another. You need to work with constraints because most of the time clients also impose lots of constraints, or you need to work on an existing project, so you don't have the choice of choosing a programming language you want. And one also needs to think critically. Right, details are on these dimensions are in the paper. So this is the what. Next, we have the how, so these are the 7 dimensions of CPS, but what are we going to do about it? How do we aim to amplify it? Well, we are developing a survey to self-assess the creative problem solving skills of students to be able to facilitate the learning of that. And we want to create a new survey instead of an existing one because we found none that exactly match what we wanted to do. Of course, they're based on the existing metrics, such as these right here. And this is ongoing work. So we gathered some data on the survey. It's a pilot study, and we did some factor analysis. And we found out that the 7 dimensions can be grouped into 3 main branches. One is ability, the other is mindset, and the third one is interaction. And this is some future work we still intend to do. Thank you.